I am going to make a drawing of this beautiful model. I found this picture on Pixabay. I regularly go there for source photographs. And today I had my 1000th subscriber at my YouTube channel, so thank you for all your attention and encouragement for this channel. I'm really happy with that. Thank you. Thumbs up for you. And just another quick drawing. This is such a source photograph. You could make a very careful drawing and spend hours, but I just want to make a very spontaneous drawing. So I am adding accentuations to indicate where the eyes must be and details. I'm wondering whether I put the mouth a little bit too low now. And I'm just adding hatchings. And I'm using regular printer paper and an HB pencil. So I like that simplicity. And there's not really much shadow. You have shadow here and here. First I had made this print, but it was too light, so I made a darker one using my photo editing software. Just did gamma adjust and lowered the values to half of it, or 70% or something like that. And I'm relatively careless in my drawing now, so let's see how this turns out. Maybe it will turn out in a good drawing. Something like this can turn out in my best drawing, or it can turn out into a drawing which I'd rather not share. Anyway, let's see. Suggesting the hairs. And my scratchings, I'd rather call them scratchings than hatchings, actually. Go all directions. And sometimes I accentuate a certain detail, like this for example. I wanted to accentuate that a little bit here. And in the beginning I wanted to have the overall structure of her face right. And now I feel that her expression is there more or less. I want to focus more on certain details and the tonal values. And sometimes one starts with a certain attitude, so to speak, on a drawing, and I find myself now at the point that I don't want to be too careful, which is a bit counterintuitive perhaps when you make a drawing. Sometimes I have different phases in which I am very bold in the start of a drawing, and then I'm careful working it out. But sometimes I feel I have to finish a drawing with the same boldness. But I think this is a variation as well, by the way, because here I try to have subtle tonal values in her cheek. So there's a certain dynamic in having a certain boldness and a certain careful approach as well. I want to focus on her face and not so much on her hair. And gradually I want this drawing to get more detail. And I want this chin to stand out, so I want her neck to be a little bit darker in tonal value. And I want to be careful not to lose this little highlight here. Sometimes you lose that when you draw. Now I'm gradually adding tonal values in her face and making it more defined. making her face more defined. At this moment I like the smoothness of this paper. For a while I used very rough paper, which gives it a painterly effect. There were some questions about that. And at a certain moment recently I switched to these regular printer paper, sheets of paper. And I think it's nice to have the same paper that everyone has almost available, I think. I mean, if you go to a printer shop, you have the same paper. And I want this to be very easy to, to copy. I don't want to use fancy pencils or whatever. Not saying that I will never use those, but at this moment I really like HB, which is just, something that's everywhere is almost available, I think. And now I am adding accentuations. I just took another pencil. I have 3 pencils here, and this is the pencil that I used, and the tip of the pencil is blunt a bit. So now I'm using another pencil which is sharper again. The nose does not have the right form yet. Now I'm looking at this accentuation here, this area, the eye socket, or what's it called? And there's too much roundness here, so I have to adjust that a little bit. Oops, I'm going through the paper now. So, here. So that's why I use 300 grams paper. But actually it's also nice to have traces of hard work in this paper. Well, hard work it isn't, but traces of physical activity on this paper. And now I start to wonder to what extent I will work on this drawing. I'm not sure, this eye is a bit too high when you compare this. I can do two things. I can leave it that way, or I can just make it a bit lower here and see what comes out of it. I'm not even using an eraser. There goes the highlights that I wanted to save, but I just want this eye to have a better position. Very late in the drawing process I see that. I actually see that because I have this camera above. And now the drawing is turning into some sort of battlefield. Which is interesting as well. So I'm used to having this 300 grams paper, so but it's fun actually. I want to break this highlight a little bit. I want your expression to be soft and maybe I'm ruining now this drawing to a certain extent, but I'm just working on the eyes. Let's make it a battlefield drawing. And I'm just working through this and it's perhaps more an interesting drawing than a pretty drawing. It's not even a very good drawing. I think this is too dark, but I think it's better for the expression. But I found it interesting anyway, so just work on this. Nah, I'm not going to use an eraser. Well, to be honest, I failed. This is not a really good eye. I think the painting technique is interesting. I found it interesting anyway. The drawing technique, I meant to say. So, a little bit. Why not? Trying to use the eraser now as a drawing technique. I can make this lighter. It's a battlefield drawing anyway. Actually, you can use the eraser to blend, something which I never do. So let's go overboard with this. I need this to be a little lighter, and then I can work on that again. That eye. I just keep erasing to get that eye so light that I can add some highlights again. Let's use the pink traces of the eraser as an extra drawing method. But I need to get this eraser clean to go further here. Yep. So the eye is lighter now. It's really spooky. And now I want this eye to be drawn again. And I want her expression well here. So I'm adding accentuations. I'm looking at the angle here. Sometimes with something which I did not do enough in the beginning, but whatever. I do it now. And I think that's better. This is a dark area. Oops. I shouldn't have done that. Oops. These erasers are terrible. Here I have a white eraser. I hope that's better. It's a really messy drawing, and I actually like that in this case. I have the feeling that this pencil is actually a little bit harder than the other ones I was using. So gives more possibilities to add some sharp accentuations here and there. And now I'm reaching a point that I say, well, I should stop somewhere. It's not the prettiest drawing, and I think that such a beautiful face deserves to be drawn with a little more delicacy perhaps, but I liked this little drawing actually, so go to upload it anyway. I think I leave it at this. A little bit here. I like the playfulness of this expression. It's in there somewhere. So I leave it at this. This is a drawing. Thank you for your attention.